Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tera Vanachari Jamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Yashodanandana Brajadana Randana Jamuna Tera Vanachari Jamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhava Madhava Jai Radha Madhava Madhava Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Gaura Premanande. Jai Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Vrajgacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace Shirabai Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi Biti Founder Charya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sarakaya Taksurinmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Tadvaitam Savadutam Paritana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakambitam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostite Saptakantana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tirubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Ram Shaiva Narotamam Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the Supremost Human Being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva. Nasta Prayesha Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama-shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Maha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Surabhyay Namaha Om Surabhyay Namaha Om Surabhyay Namaha Bukam karoti vatanam pangum nangayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataram Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataram. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class. We continue from Canto number 2, chapter 6, entitled Purusha Sukta, confirmed, and we are reading text 22. Yes, text number 22. Yasmad Andam Virad Jagne Bhutandriya Gunat Makaha Tad Dravyam Atyagad Vishwam Gobihi Surya Iva Tapan Yasmad Andam Virad Jajne Bhutendriya Gunat Bhutendriya Gunat Makaha Tad Dravyam Atyagad Vishwan Tad Dravyam Atyagad Vishwam Gobhi Surya Iva Tapam Yasmad Andam Virad Jajne Bhutendriya Gunat Makaha Tad Dravyam Aryagad Vishwam Gobhi Surya Iva Tapam Yasmad Andam Virad Jajne Bhutendriya Gunatmakaha Tad Dravyam Atyagad Vishwam Gobhi Surya Iva Tapan Yasmadandam Virad Jajne Bhutendriya Gunatmakaha Tadravyam Atyagad Vishwam Gobi Surya Iva Tapan Yasmadandam virajyasne bhutendriya gunatmakaha tadravyam vishvam gobhi surya iva tapan. Yasmadandam virajyasne bhutendriya gunatmakaha tadavyam atagat vishvam surya gobhi surya iva tapan. Tasmat yasmat, from which, andam, the universal globes, virat, and the gigantic universal form, Jasne, appeared, bhuta, elements, indriya, senses, guna atmakaha, qualitative, tat dravyam, the universes, and the universal form, etc. Atyagat, surpassed. Vishvam, all the universes. Gobihi, by the rays. Suryaha, the sun. Eva, like. Tapan, distributed rays and heat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. From that personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal forms with all material elements, qualities, and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. Kind of repeat after me. From that personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal form with all material elements, qualities and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. Report. The supreme truth has been ascertained in the previous verse as Purusha, or the Purushottama, the Supreme Person. The absolute person is the Ishvara, or the supreme controller, by his different energies. The Ekapad Vibhuti manifestation of the material energy of the Lord is just like one of the many mistresses of the Lord, by whom the Lord is not so much attracted as indicated in the language of the Gita, Bhinna Prakriti. But the reason of the Tripad Vibhuti being a pure spiritual manifestation of the energy of the Lord is, so to speak, more attractive to him. The Lord, therefore, generates material manifestations by impregnating the material energy. And then within the manifestation, he expands himself as the gigantic form of the Virat Rupa. The Virat Rupa, as it was shown to Arjuna, is not the original form of the Lord. The original form of the Lord is the transcendental form of Purushottama, or Krishna himself. It is very nicely explained herein that he expands himself just like the sun. The sun expands itself by its terrible heat and rays. Yet the sun is always aloof from such rays and heat. The impersonalist takes into consideration the rays of the Lord without any information of the tangible, transcendental, eternal form of the Lord, known as Krishna. Therefore, Krishna, in his supreme personal form, with two hands and flute, is bewildering for the impersonalists who can accommodate only the gigantic Vishvarupa of the Lord. They should know that the rays of the sun are secondary to the sun. And similarly, the impersonal, gigantic form of the Lord is also secondary to the personal form as Purushottama. The Brahma Samhita 1537, 537, confirms this statement as follows. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Bhissa Abhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasat Nitya Kilatma Bhuto Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, is one who enlivens the senses of everyone by his personal bodily rays. Resides in his transcendental abode called Goloka. And yet he is present in every nook and corner of his creation by expansion of happy spiritual rays, equal in power to his personal potency of bliss. End of quotation. He is therefore simultaneously personal and impersonal by his inconceivable potencies. Or he is the one without a second, displaying complete unity in a diversity of material and spiritual manifestations. He is separate from everything, and still nothing is different from him. Reading the translation again to text 22. From that personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal form with all material elements, qualities, and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. Yes. So this is a continuing explanation of the Lord's potencies and his manifestation of the external material energy described as the Virat Rupa, universal form of the Lord. Then the purport Prabhupada mentions how in the Bhagavad Gita we know Krishna revealed this universal form to Arjuna at the request of Arjuna. And it is quite elaborately described how this universal form of the Lord appeared very frightening, actually, to Arjuna. And after witnessing this universal form, Virat Rupa, of the Lord, Arjuna, who was witnessing this form, became very disturbed or agitated, and then requested the Lord to again assume his original form. And of course, the Lord from the Virat Rupa form then showed his four-armed form as Paramatma, Super Soul, and then his original form, two-armed form of Shama Sundar. In that explanation or purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Krishna actually explains in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that actually this form, this personal form that you're seeing is actually very confidential. Of course, so many people, when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, saw that personal form of Krishna, but actually they they did not understand or could not accept that Krishna is God. And therefore Prabhupada explains that although the Lord personally appeared 5,000 years ago to perform his Leela, his pastimes, only very few people actually could really understand. So the example is again given of the sun and the sun rays. The sun, although very, very far away, what is the distance of the sun from planet Earth? I think something like 92 million miles, very long distance. So although so far away, we know that in the month of March and April, the sun gets very, very hot, cannot stand actually the rays, the heat of the sun. So if something can be so hot, 92 million miles away, then we can barely imagine how powerful, isn't it? Must be the sun who is able to emit such heat at such a long distance. And also Prabhupada makes a point that if the temperature of the sun goes a little bit this way, then the whole planet catches on fire. And if the sun rays go the other way, we freeze. So there's a fine, line, which is of course all arranged by the omnipotency of the Lord. How is it that, of course, some days do get very hot, and some days do get in the wintertime, especially in some of the Western countries, it gets below 30, 40 degrees below zero. But overall, the only in some sections of the planet, like in the Arctic, that is frozen all the time. In the Arctic and Antarctic. So it also mentions here how this external manifestation, this material creation, this material energy of the Lord is also attractive because it originates from the all attractive, isn't it? Krishna is all attractive and all powerful. Similarly, his material energy is all attractive and all powerful. And therefore, those who don't know about Krishna, they will be attracted to Krishna's energy, isn't it? Majority of people are attracted to the beauty of the material world. to the beauty of the creation, sunrise, moonrise, or the beauty of nature. Nature actually very attractive. So Krishna explains, of course, that whatever we see or experience in the material world is but a very, very, very insignificant, small expression of his original potencies. It is, he mentions, but a spark of my potencies. So those who are fortunate, like all of us, we have this great fortune of hearing these descriptions of the Lord's spiritual energy in the spiritual world, and also his material energy in the material world, then at least we have the information to not become bewildered by the attraction of this material world, and to develop that vision and that understanding that the Lord is present, and the Lord is present through his material. The Lord is present through his material energy. So, just looking at a few points here. Prabhupada quotes, of course, from the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita was discovered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we know, when he visited South India. Brahma Samhita is containing the prayers of Lord Brahma. Actually, we come to know that there were 100 chapters of prayers composed by Lord Brahma, but we only have one portion of one chapter, chapter 5 of the Brahma Samhita. But although, just like, for example, Srila Jiva Goswami explains that 5,000 years ago, Srila Vyasadeva along with so many other assistants or learned scholars, devotee scholars, they put into writing all of the Vedic knowledge. Before that, people did not need to read. They simply, by hearing our knowledge, Vedic knowledge, is what is called oral, by oral reception. It is meant to be especially heard. But because Kali Yuga was to begin, Srila Vyasadeva, he is, what are people called? Those who can see past, present, and future. There's a Sanskrit term, trikalagya. Trikalagya. Tri means three. Kala means time. Gya means knowledge. Those who are self-realized, they can see the future, they can see the past and the present. Trikalagya. Trikalagya. So personality. Intelligent, that they would have less ability to remember, to memorize, that people in Kali Yuga would be very, by nature, tend to be late. Therefore, he decided in writing all of the Vedic teachings. All the original four Vedas, the Puranas, Itihas, different histories like that. So 500 years ago, when Sridham wrote his Sandarbha, in the beginning, Srila Jiva Goswami, in the Tattva Sandarbha, there is the Tattva Sandarbha,